Gaffer, back to where it all started for you. MK Dons away all those months ago. What can you remember from that day?
From that day?
Yeah.
Just remember being nervous. I remember having butterflies in my stomach, thrown in right at the deep end, live on Sky, I think. Yeah. Doing interviews when a lot had happened in the previous 48 hours, but I remember going into the game excited about it, nervous yet, but looking forward to the challenge. And I remember us playing okay first half, playing quite well second half, and in the end come out with a good point, and it was a good game. So, and I also remember the fan who jumped on the who jumped onto the support, whatever it's called, and fell flat on his face in a segregation. So I've seen that a good few times since.
Could do that, yeah. Actually, good read. Wild celebrations. 45 games later, you're going back.
Yeah.
Does it? Has it flown by? Has it?
Yeah. So
feel like you've been in it for ages.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone the other day, and he said coming up to almost 12 months as the manager, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, it is. It's the middle of October. It was obviously start of December when it all kicked off. So yeah, flown by. I didn't know it was 45 games, but it's been good. I've enjoyed it. Been a good roller coaster. A few highs, few lows, and yeah, just taking it each day as it comes. Still.
Would you say? I know it's early, but like, have you, from that moment to now, how much have you changed as a gaffer? Do you think, or not at all?
Every week that goes past, you get more experienced. So I think the first 6 months I was just true to myself. I stayed, how we played, the way we worked, the methods that we used. We stuck to it. We changed a few things from when obviously Ryan was in charge of how the week looked and whatever. Nothing too drastic. So yeah, enjoyed the second half of last season, really enjoyed it, and then this season, as we spoke about and highlighted, I felt as though we had to get a bit smarter, because we all know how the last sort of 5-6 games went when we played against the top teams, MK Dons being one of them. I just spoke about it before. Thought my team and our team was a little bit one-dimensional, and we had to do something about it. So got to work over the summer, did something about it, and now we've got a couple of different ways to play. So yeah, I would say evolving and still continuing to learn as a manager. Yeah.
You mentioned MK last season were one of the top teams, got to the playoffs obviously. What do you put their slow start down to? Because they haven't hit the same heights yet this year, have they?
No, they haven't, and I'm really surprised to see where they are in the league, because as you said, they were third in the division last year, and arguably one of the best, certainly probably the best to watch last year. I think if you look at the turnover in the players that they've had, maybe that's a reason why they've had a slower start. So quite a lot of players out. I think there was 8 out, I think, and big players as well, good players who we know about, and 13 or 14 new ones in. So that can be hard, and you see it at all levels. I think there's a Premier League team at Nottingham Forest, huge turnover of numbers, and it just takes time, I think, for players to gel. And yeah, surprised with the start and the points that MK have managed to pick up this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get it going, because Liam's a good manager and a really good coach, and I know his assistant manager, Argyle, really well as well, Chris Ogden. And yeah, I think they'll be working really hard to try and put it right, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I suppose sometimes a side that has real quality but haven't been performing, it could be one of the most dangerous, because at any moment it could just click for them quite nicely. Yeah,
and I've watched a fair bit of their footage back, and the games that they played in, the close games, like nearly all of them are in League One. They're not getting battered by anyone. They're in the games. I watched them on Tuesday night against Bristol Rovers. They're in the game. It's a penalty decision that separates the outcome, and so there's nothing in it. And as you said, they're only one good performance away from clicking into gear and getting that confidence back, and it's our job to make sure that good performance doesn't come on Saturday, and we go and try and perform to our best and make it a difficult afternoon for them.
And just finally on that, like, how are we looking ahead of Saturday after a nice week to prepare for it?
Yeah, it's been a good week again. Occasionally when you get these clear weeks, it's important that I always try and go back and review what we've done in the previous 3 or 4 games and then say, okay, what do we actually need to work on? So I felt our performance against Accrington for certainly early on in the game probably wasn't good enough with the ball. Thought we were a bit scruffy with the ball, so that's been the focus this week, about trying to get look after it a bit better and play with a little bit more care and pass the ball a bit faster, because as I say, we turned the ball over too many times in Accrington and even in the Wycombe game, which was a completely different game. So yeah, the week's been good. We've had time to work on things, time to go over it and speak to the players what we expect from them, and yeah, hopefully we've got some fresh legs ready to go on Saturday. So it's going to be a good game. I know we've sold loads of tickets again, brilliant, and we want to go and put a good performance on for our fans.
Best of luck, Gaffer.